Juliano, I find the polarizations in humanity caused by the opinions, rigid opinions perpetuated through social media are creating a lack of rational discussion and discernment for truth about the pandemic and the current situation in Ukraine. Could you advise how we in the spiritual community need to approach this?
The approach I recommend is that it's difficult to get all of the information. In fact, there is a spiritual view that you cannot understand everything that is going on. You cannot make a rational assessment because of the fact that you do not have all of the information. And it's not a matter of, you haven't tuned into the right TV station or you haven't found the right news outlet to give you the correct information. The truth is that there are levels of truth. There are levels of perception. And the terrible tragedies that are going on are irrational. And many of these events are karmic events. They're ancient historical conflicts that are being played out. And some of them are even galactic events that have been transmitted genetically through implants and other methodologies. And of course, then we have the issue of the dimensional fractures, which I've been lecturing on quite a bit in the past 2 weeks, that are contributing to the lower beings that are attaching and creating circumstances to act out. My advice is let's use the analogy of the skyscraper and the 20 floors. That is, on the first floor where you are occupying now, nothing makes sense. And there are conflicting stories, and there are great horrors. But if you were able to go to the 20th floor and look at this, you might have a totally different opinion. You might say, this is all as it should be. But that's because you have a different perspective. You have a higher perspective. I'm not saying that you should like what is going on because it's not good. It's not very evolved. It's very animalistic. And this thing with social media is an example of what happens when there is lack of control and discernment. Discernment is of the highest value. I would be also very confused if I were reading the social media news outlets because you cannot know who to believe. Everyone knows that we are approaching the ascension point and that there is great planetary chaos and that the chaos is going to accelerate. I would say the answer is that you must hold on to your faith as strongly as you can and realize that there is a greater purpose to this drama. And unfortunately, being on the first floor, you will not be able to understand all of this. And think of even some of the events that have happened even in the 20th century, like the Holocaust or the many other genocides that are going on around this planet. What possible rational reason could be offered? And my only answer is that there is karmic lessons and there are karmic dramas that are being played out on this planet that are very old and ancient. And unfortunately, you will not get all of the information to explain why.